Today's video is brought to you by KGS Cards. Go to www.kgs-cards.com and right now you can pre-order the new Sabbat decks that are coming out in October. Path of Cain, Path of Cathari, Path of Death and the Soul, Path of Power, and the Inner Voice. That's KGS Cards. Tell them the Water Dog sent you. Greetings and salutations and welcome to Reading Between the Lines. I am your host, the Water Dog, and today I will be counting down my 10 favorite vampires from Keepers of Tradition. But before I do that, please do me the kind favor of hitting that subscribe button. It means a whole lot to me and I really do appreciate it. All right, man, Keepers of Tradition comes out in 2008 and it's a Camarilla set, brother. We're going back to the old clans. You know what I'm talking about? We've got your Tremiers, your Malkavians, your Bruja. So we're playing Camarilla. Now, there are going to be a few independent vampires in this set, but it's mainly going to be, Keepers of Tradition. It's going to be Camarilla, okay? It's a 398 card set. And some of these vampires are not going to be in the booster pack. Some of these vampires are going to be in the starter decks. They have these 4 starter decks, and so you were going to be able to only get some of these vampires within the starter decks as well. So it's a really good set. A lot of my favorite vampires come from this set. I still play with vampires from this set. And so I like it a whole lot. And so, well, let's just get to it, man. We're going to be talking about my 10. Now, once again, these are my favorites. Not necessarily the best. These are the ones that finds their ways into decks that I play. And so I like them for this, that, and the other reason. So here we go. Number 10. Lyons Serrata, Toreador, 9-cap, Camarilla Primogen, +1 strength, got little paw, big eye, big lightning bolt, big wave, obtenebration, big asterisk. So we're looking at 4 superior abilities and a Primogen to boot. And then of course, you know me, if you got a big cap vampire, and you got little animalism, that always allows me to have a nice little free wake to unlock against bleeds, and I like being able to do that. And so there you go. Good vampire, falls to my Toreador decks. She's really good for combat, especially with the aspects, because you can, Eyes of Argus, you can, telepath misdirection, you can then with the lightning bolt find yourself, with some additional strikes, but don't forget about that obtenebration. That's just an added bonus for her, so that you can, get some stealth things off as well. So really good vampire. She hits the number 10 spot for me. At the number 9 spot, we're going into my wheelhouse now. We're going into some Nosferatu, and we're talking about Giuseppe Brunel, 8-cap, Camarilla Primogen. Got the little blank, big paw, big chain, big fist, all the things that I love. And Giuseppe can enter combat with a minion controlled by your predator or prey as a D action. You know he's made for that, right? You know that. Like I said, there's a lot of good vampires in this set. There's a lot of good vampires in this set. And Giuseppe is one of them. And, just having that ability to go in there and enter combat to the left or to the right is just really good. And then don't forget the Dominate, because the Dominate, to be able to use the Dominate, because you can bleed now, because you got some obfuscate, you can bleed, you know what I'm saying? You can then unlock, you can bounce bleed. So, he's a good vampire to multi-act with, okay? Because you can take the actions to enter combat, then you can then unlock, you can then bounce bleed. So there's just a lot of good things about Giuseppe, and that's why the number 9 spot. Let's go to the number 8 spot. Probably a vampire that you'll see in a lot of people's decks, especially if they're playing Ventru. Graham Gottsman, 7-cap, Camarilla, Prince of Miami. Little blank, little asterisk, little pentagram, big chain, big mountain. And we talked about this in the Twilight Rebellion set when we're talking about Ventru that have obfuscate is just really good. Even though it's at the inferior, it's still good because it helps you get off those political actions when you need them. And he's a prince to boot. And so there you go. So he's got all those good Ventru disciplines. But the Great thing about him, he's a 7-cap prince that has some obfuscate. And for a Ventrue, that's really, really good because you can bleed and you can vote with some efficiency with this vampire. And that's why you see him in a lot of decks. Let's go to the number 7 spot. And we're getting back to my wheelhouse. We're going to some inner combat here. We got Talbot, 7-cap, Game Girl, Independent, Little Mountain, Big Paw, Big Skull, Big Cat's Eye. Talbot may burn a master card from your hand to attempt to enter combat with any minion as a +1 stealth D-action. So not only do you get the enters combat with Talbot, but you can cycle cards. And so, one of the things that's good about Vampire sometimes is you can get rid of a card to do certain things. And Talbot here is one of those vampires. A lot of times I see vampires that can discard cards for votes and stuff like that. But being able to discard a master card to enter combat is really, really good because not only are you cycling a card out of your hand, but you're probably drawn into what you need, especially for the combat that you're about to enter, okay? And so, really, really good vampire for that. Very good, discipline spread. Don't forget about the necromancy right there because there's a lot of things you can do with the necromancy. And Talbot hits the 7 spot. Going to the number 6 spot, another vampire that you're going to see in a lot of people's decks, especially from that time. And actually, I've seen it here lately, and that is Dimitra Ilinova. She is a 9-cap Camarilla Bruja Justicar. Got a little blank, big lightning bolt, big mountain, big fist, big asterisk. So she's got 4 great superior disciplines right into the wheelhouse of the Bruja, and she's also got some obfuscate, which is really, really good. But it's her special. Dimitra may call a referendum to distribute 4 blood from the blood bank among 1 or more ready vampires as a +1 stealth political action. And so, really, really good vampire. You'll see her in a lot of vote decks, especially within that group fighting. So you'll see her in group 4-5, you'll see her in group 5-6. She plays well with the Camarilla votes, and so she's a good staple card vampire for that. And that special is just amazing. So she takes the number 6 spot for me. At the number 5 spot, and these are not just some good vampires. I mean, if you like Camarilla, these are some good vampires. Marianne Blair, 10-cap, Camarilla, Ventrue Justicar. Got little paw, little fist. Now, I'm saying this for a Ventrue. Little paw, little fist. Big eye, big chain, big mountain, big presence. All the good things that you want to have with your Ventrue. Don't underestimate that Auspex, okay? The Auspex is really, really good, okay? All right, Marianne can move 2 blood from the blood bank to a vampire in your uncontrolled region as a +1 stealth action. Inner circle members get -2 bleed while she is ready. So she has that effect against the inner circles, but the special to have your own built-in enchant kindred down is really, really good. And so then you've got the fortitude, you can free drive, you could unlock. She can be your blocking machine. She's got some combat there for that as well. And so having a Ventrue Justicar where you can play 2nd tradition with superior aspects, you can pretty much block anything you want to block. If you don't want to block, then you've got some dominate, to, just simply stay out of the combat, or let's say to bounce the bleeds as well. She's all over the map. She's just so good. And she's a good multi-acting vampire. You'll see her in a lot of decks. She's number 5 for me. Number 5. Gosh, what's going to be 4? Here we go. Back in my wheelhouse. Baron Dudon. 9-cap, Camarilla Prince of Brussels. I got the big paw, I got the big blank, I got the big fist, I got the big cat eye. I got 4 superior disciplines, and I've got a vampire with a built-in freak drive. Once during your minion phase, when Dudon successfully resolves an action, he may burn 1 blood to untap. I've actually got a player in my play group that's playing this guy. He's been playing him now for about 6 months. He beats the crap out of us with his Nosferatu deck. And Baron Dudon is a staple of that deck. That's right, BJ, I'm talking about you. This is why, you're not invited to Christmas. He's been playing it well. It's a good little Nosferatu deck. But this is a good little vampire. And look, there's a lot of different ways you can approach him combat-wise. But I'm gonna tell you right now, probably the best way is to just get into, a torn signpost grapple, and then ag hand, with that protein. Really, really good stuff. You can play him from the animalism standpoint as well. If you want to take some actions to make sure they get off, you've got, some obfuscates. So he's a very versatile vampire. He was in a lot of my decks, especially back in the day. And he hits the number 4 spot. At the number 3 spot, gosh, fun vampire here. Goddamn the Tired Warrior, 9-cap Camarilla. Little paw. Big eye, big chain, big mountain, big presence. Got all those good, Ventru abilities. And once again, another Ventru with superior aspects. But it's his special I love. Goddamn may end combat as a strike that costs 1 blood. He treats aggravated damage as normal damage in combat. He is immune to frenzy cards. Now, we had a thing that we've done in the last few years. We didn't do it last year. We kind of stepped away from it, but it was something that me and Matt Hatch was really trying to get going, because he was the one that, really was on board with this, and that was our 1 vampire deck tournaments that we were running. And we did it for a few years. And this was the one that I ran and took second place with, and Kelly Schultz won that tournament over there at the Dance Macabre at our 1 vampire tournament. And I love him. I especially for the 1 vampire format, because the ability to not take aggravated damage, because in the 1 vampire tournament, you're playing a lot of combat vampires. And so the ability to not take ag damage was big. And so he was big for me. Great discipline spread, very good for combat. And of course, with all those other disciplines, you can simply, you're not worried about, if you get blocked with him. So him getting blocked, it's not a problem, okay? And so being able to end the combat as a strike that costs 1 blood, got a built-in, majesty for all intents and purposes. Just another good thing. So he hits the number 3 spot. Here we go. Number two. My favorite art for a vampire card. And it's Gerald Wyndham. He is a 9-cap Tremere Camarilla vampire. Big eye, big chain, big mountain, big pentagram. I love the art. I love the blood mask with that blonde hair. I don't even know if it's supposed to be a wig or if it's his real hair, but I tell you, this would be a great costume. And then I love, the hold it up right there. Get that blood spot going. Just really, really cool. Love the art. The art attracts you to the card immediately. Okay? But his special is outstanding. If Gerald has no title, he gets an additional vote for each ready title vampire controlled by other Methuselahs. And he also then gets +1 stealth. So you're talking about a Tremere that's got +1 stealth, okay, which helps you because now you can take some actions to bleed and maybe get some bleeds through. You do have a little bit of extra stealth with the Thaumaturgy. You have a little bit of extra stealth with the Dominate, so you can get up to 3 stealth pretty easily with that. And then don't forget, then you can unlock, you can bounce, you can block, and then he's a voter. He can help protect you on the table, especially if there's a lot of vote decks around. So a very versatile vampire. He's got that Tremere discipline, so he's still set for combat, especially with the Fortitude and the Thaumaturgy there. So really set up for that. Love the art. Played him a lot just simply because I just thought he was cool. And of course, he's got a great special. You'll still see him in decks today. Outstanding vampire, but not the #1 spot for me. Now this one you might be thinking, okay, well, if you're the water dog, this is the guy you play with, and I play with Randall. Okay? Randall is my favorite vampire from this set. He is an 8-cap, gangrel, independent, big paw, big eye, big mountain, big cat's eye. And so he's got those gangrel disciplines. He's got them all at superior. And then he is got some cool special. Randall has 1 vote. He is titled. Once each minion phase, he may burn a blood to prevent 1 non-aggravated damage done to any other minion in combat. So he gives you that protection as well. But it is the discipline spread because he is the main cog for me when we're talking about playing my animalism deck, and specifically when I'm playing with animalism and aspects, because that allows me to play a lot of Mind of the Wilds. And so he is the main instrument, you know, along with some of the other vampires, but I do love having him in there, especially because he's got the superior and all of the, you know, and those major disciplines that we just talked about. And so having the Mind of the Wilds, if you're unfamiliar with the card, it's basically you have to have aspects, you got to have animalism. At the inferior, if this action is blocked, the vampire gets one optional maneuver during the first round of the resulting combat, and the blocking minion cannot strike combat ends. So you go in Deep Song, they decide to block, okay? Well, you now have a maneuver, and they can't strike combat ends, and so you're carrying crows and you're aid for bats all day long, and it's just really, really good. You know, at the superior, you can get a +1 stealth to help you get your action off. So if you want to use the Deep Song as a bleed, then you can then use the card as a +1 stealth to try to get the bleed off. So really, really good card. And like I said, he plays right into that style that I was playing and still do play, because I still have my Mind of Wilds deck that I play. And so love him to death, and that's why he's the #1 vampire for me. Folks, appreciate you watching, man. Hey, leave some comments, because this is a really good set. I'm kind of curious as to what your top 10 favorite vampires from this set would be, so put it down in the comments for me, man. Hey, I am the Water Dog. This has been Reading Between the Lines. Y'all take care.